Hi, everybody. This is Arthi from Human Chapters. I'll give you a bit of an introduction about human chapters. Humans are living narratives with the past, present, and future. These narratives constitute of a number of chapters across a lifespan. The aim of these conversations is to highlight a chapter of the narrative and unpack its connections to other chapters. I don't care whether people are natural storytellers, but I truly do believe each one of us has a worthy story to share. An acknowledgement to country. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land which now comprises Greater Shepparton. We pay respect to their tribal elders, past and present and emerging. We celebrate the continuing culture and we acknowledge the memory of their ancestors. Today, we're going to be speaking with Noureen, and Noureen's human chapter is Feminism. I'll pass on the platform to Noureen to introduce herself.
Okay, hi. My name is Noureen, and as Aarti has already introduced me, and basically I have done nursing, then I have completed my master's in psychology, and right now I'm an English instructor in an institute. So this is what right now nowadays I'm doing. I'm a part-time I'm part-time instructor. So that's what, and I am living in Karachi, Pakistan, and my hobbies are like I really like to read books, watch movies, and I am really very much fond of learn about different culture, different traditions, about different people living in different parts of the world, and that's it. Yeah. So this is all about me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Noureen. So with your chapter, Feminism, tell us, where did your journey begin and why did you choose this particular chapter?
Yeah. So basically, this term, not exactly this feminism term coined in my mind, but when I was a teenager, and maybe earlier than teenager, I was like gathering with my relatives, my friends, and being a child who was raising by a single parent. So I had no male figure at home, and when I used to attend homes of my relatives, so there I used to observe over there that there are gender roles which are divided between males and females. So that was the point, and that was the time when it hit to my mind that why the things are so much unequal between two genders, and why gender roles are so different for females and for males, and why male figure always being so much considered to be prestigious and privileged. So that was the point, and that was the time when I used to argue with many of my relatives and my friends and my cousins over this topic. And I used to question them. I used to counter question them that why this is the way, and I always got the answer that this is how world works, and this is how our society runs, and this is how people behave and do, and society expect from us, and we have to do that. So and it never satisfied me, such kind of answers, and I was keep on questioning again and again, okay, why this is the way societies work. So I started to explore books and different materials to understand this phenomena, and there were many books I started to read, basically, and I will just take like two good names of the books which I have read up till now regarding feminism. So when I see the word feminism, so the exact root word feminism, which has been coined from Western world, and the person who basically suggested the term feminism was Charles Fourier, and basically he was a utopian sociologist and socialist. Sorry, he was socialist. He was French socialist and philosopher, and he came up with the idea of gender equality and society. The people who are living in the society must be treated equally, and then he came up with this idea. But in my personal opinion, what I believe is that this is the root term which was introduced from Western side. But the essence of this term, what I believe was existed right before the suggestion of this term. So basically, when we go back and we trace the history, the human history, there is really an interesting book which is written by a writer. She's a Moroccan sociologist, and her name is Fatma Mirnisi. And basically, she is also a feminist who has written many, points and things which basically challenge, a certain religious dogmas related to inferiority of females and superiority of males. So, and the name of the book is Beyond the Veil, which was published in 1975. So basically, I was reading this book, I think 3 years back, and this book, I like, it is really an eye-opening book, because many things I have, learned about from this book, that in previously, like when we see the human history, there we will find that the females used to be dominating many centuries back. It was the time when there was no concept of tools, technologies, but later on, when there was the concept of invention of tools introduced, and when there was the concept of technologies were emerging, so male became dominated at that time. And from that era up till now, we females are the inferior counterpart of male male part. So that's the thing that and like she came up with many interesting things, that there are many religions who says that which says that there is a superiority of male figure and inferiority of female figure. Female should confine in four walls, she should just look after the family and the kids, and the male should be the brat earner, and he should go out and he should take the major decisions of the home. So so this writer basically challenged them that there is no such things which any religion basically teaches. It is just like that, the era and the time period when that religion basically introduced and revealed, that was basically the male dominated societies. And the people who were basically interpreting the all verses and revelations and everything, they were also male. So now you can have a clear idea that those who are interpreting, who are involved with the religious teachings and everything, they were, if they are male, so of course and obviously they will support their male part rather than they will support the female part. So that's that's the, I think, very challenging thing. And nowadays many writers are coming up with their own interpretations and with their own opinions regarding the male inferiority, male superiority and female inferiority. So that's the thing. So basically that was the thing. And nowadays I'm also reading one interesting book, and its name is Contradictions and Ambiguities of Feminism in Pakistan. And basically, it is a good book where the writer name is Dr. Rubina Saigal and Nida Usman Chaudhry. And basically, this book has been written in December 2020. And they are talking about the waves of feminism which exist in Pakistan. Like there was first wave of feminism right before the partition of India and Pakistan.
Mhm.
And after that, like at that time, Khilafat movement was going on. That at that time, females were encouraged to take part in the movement for claiming for the rights. And even soon after partition, female were involved to for um, to take part. And but that was the thing that still it was male dominated society in both situation before and after partition. And when we talk about second wave of feminism in Pakistan, so feminists came up and they confronted and challenged the state and the other big organizations and other big institutes. And then when third wave came, so it is talking about that it was a lot of academic work was done in that third wave. And right now in Pakistan we have the fourth wave. I'm just like I'm feeling like covid wave. Maybe not just like that. Anyway, apart from the joke, anyway, so this is the fourth wave of feminism which is going on in Pakistan. And it is more talking about the independent expression of sexuality. Because like when we talk about sexuality, so most of the areas here, they like females are not allow the way she wanted to dress up, she wanted to talk, walk. Everything has been controlled by society and the family members. So so now females are coming out. And like every year on 8th March, females are coming and they are raising voice that at least like we have the right to laugh, to the way we want to live our lives. We have the right to take the decisions, the major decisions for ourselves. We have the right to get education. So these are the things basically for which females are coming up and they are claiming for their rights. So that's all. Like and even I'm right now in a process to explore more about this whole concept of feminism.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Noureen, for sharing about what you have connected with in reading these books, the two that you mentioned in particular. And my next question to you is, thinking about what you have connected with in these books and in relation to your own life, what does feminism look like to you in a day-to-day situation? Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, tell us a bit about that.
Okay, as far as when if I talk about my home, so no, there is no gender gender role difference, because me and my mother, of course, we are just like, we are the queens and the kings of our home. We are taking the sole decisions for every and each thing of each things. And we are the one who decide how to do things at home, and there is no one to like giving orders or giving instructions all the time, and there's no one who policing us all the time and criticizing us not to do this, not to do that. So I think we both are like independent females. And that's the thing. But when I come out of the home and when I see the lives of other people, they are not I'm not talking about like every female in the Pakistan. Of course there are many females, and even when I talk about just specifically my city, Karachi, education is so much accessible to many females over here. But when we even go out of, Karachi, and when we look the other areas of the country, so yes, there is a dire need of you know uh, providing education to females. And I think overall, even when we talk about male and female ratio of education, so of course, even when we combine, and overall when we see, so there is still education and literacy rate is lesser,
Mm.
um, like in both parts, like in for both genders. And not even females, but I also support the transgenders as well, because they also have the right to live a life like us, what I believe. Because if their bodies are not like us, if they can't like reproduce, that doesn't mean that we should snatch their rights, we can't provide them education, we can't provide them jobs. So I think they also have the equal right to live a very happy and comfortable life, like we all genders are doing. So, and nowadays in Pakistan, even feminists are also including all the transgenders and minority genders as well, and they are fighting for the rights of those minority genders as well. So when I relate this concept of feminism with myself, so of course, yes, at home there is no such thing like that. But when I go out, and of course when I see and when I hear the stories of other, and when I talk about job opportunities, and when I talk about you are walking on the streets, and sometimes you have to face strange staring of males, and they are sometimes hooting or teasing, or they try to tease you on the street. So that's the thing. And regardless of that, whatever you are wearing, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. If they want to stare in a bad way, in a strange way, they will do it regardless of any sense of dressing. So people are like just that. So that's the thing. But still, when I compare my city to other cities, so I'm thankful that our city is much more better than some other cities as well. But still, females are fighting for the right of having the access of public spaces, same like males, they do have the access. For example, when I talk about dhaba system, dhaba is a small place where male people, males, they sit there along with their friends, have a cup of tea, they are doing conversations on different things.
Right.
So I have rarely seen any single female sitting on the dhaba. Yes, although there was one event, it took place, there was a good group of females who went to dhaba, they sat there, they enjoyed, they took selfies, and they published the whole article. But there was only single event which happened. But
Yeah.
what I see, then I think it should be frequently happening in our society, and it should become normalized, so
Yeah.
that even females, they get the chance to come out, sit with friends, take out their frustrations. Of course, most of the time they are juggling up with their family responsibilities, they are doing home chores all the time, so they have the right to take out such kind of frustrations and enjoy their lives as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of that particular public space, the Daba that you mentioned, is it a place where they cook food, or is it a place where it's like a
um
social gathering kind of space for people?
it's a space just like smaller than restaurant, but
Yeah.
it's an open space where they have set up the tables and chairs around, and or maybe other like sitting other tools, and people are sitting over there in a group form, and they are especially males are like sitting over there, and
Sure.
all the like cooking staff is male, uh, and they usually cook food like parathas and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, there like small gravies, and like little gravies, and they are serving french fries, sort of like small stuff, food stuff.
Sure.
And but mostly I have seen like many males, they are sitting like along with their friend circle, they are talking about different things, they are smoking cigarettes,
Yeah.
and they are just having fun over there. But I sometimes wonder that why this is only limited for males and
Yeah.
not for females.
Yeah. And
So
have
it
you,
should be.
yeah, and Noreen, have you attempted to go to one of these spaces with
No,
your
no.
friends? Okay. Yeah.
Not really, not really. Because even if I want to go there, I can't sit all alone. I need a whole friend circle so that I can feel safe and I can sit there and enjoy. So I never tried basically, and I never tried that. And
Okay.
I can't all alone.
Yeah.
I need a whole group to sit there and
Which,
do
you
that.
know, Noreen, it's making me think about things I would personally take for granted, even though they seem quite small. I know that they're not small, and by that I mean going to a cafe for a coffee by myself, going out for breakfast by myself, going and watching a movie by myself,
Yeah,
sort of a thing. It was. I'm thinking about women empowerment and sort of thinking about the first time I went and watched a movie by myself or even had a coffee by myself. It was a totally different feeling. Again, I cannot empathize or even imagine the situation or just your experience because it's so personal. But the fact that people will look at me if I'm by myself or I don't
yeah,
have any friends or I need to worry about my safety, like it was, yeah, it was such an incredibly liberating experience, going there,
yes,
having a coffee and not worrying about what anyone thinks, but
yeah,
truly enjoying that cup of coffee, by myself, paying for it by myself, and all of these layers that we have. We've got opportunity that has been afforded, but it's come at a cost, at a very, like, people have fought for it. So
yeah.
yeah, I can
True.
appreciate the complexity and yeah, try to understand your experience. Again, I
Yeah.
don't know what it's like, but
It
yeah,
is just like difference of culture, because even I am a psychologist,
yeah,
so I have read like in social psychology that Western culture and Eastern culture are different from each other. And here the terms come when you talk about individualism and collectivism. So basically, when we talk about Eastern countries, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, China, Japan,
mm,
they believe in collectivism.
yeah,
They always work in teams, they are
mm,
always work in group, they always like to sit in the families, they enjoy their time with the families, they have the family concept, they have the joint family concept.
yeah,
And when you talk about Western countries, they believe in individualism, not the collectivism. They like to be appreciated, they like to be recognized,
yeah,
they want to make a unique and different personality all alone. So that's why when people when they migrate from Eastern countries to Western countries, so sometimes they feel good and sometimes they don't, because of an entire shift of the whole collectivism culture into individual culture. So that's the thing, but I think both cultures have advantages and disadvantages, because everything has a good phase and the bad phase. So even if individualism is good, because you grow a lot over there,
mm,
so at some cost you actually grow there. Sometimes you have to ignore the family system, sometimes you have to keep behind the other relationships and you have to move forward.
yeah.
So that's the thing. So that's a big difference in both cultures.
Absolutely. And the other thing I was thinking about, Noreen, and you might be able to shed some light on this, is the idea of feminism in what your thinking is in relation to mental health. Now, this is particularly when you talked about the DABA, public space, and you mentioned that males are able to share their stories, share their experiences, vocalize their worries, whereas females don't have or may not have that opportunity to do it. And now, thinking about mental health and what it is like globally, is there something, that you can tell us about that?
Females are more prone to depression, basically.
Okay.
Females go through depression more than male part, because of and what I think is specifically in my country, when I talk about females, if they don't get chance to vent off, so of course there are higher chances to get depression soon. But again, when you see suicidal case, there are more suicidal case among men than women, because of men, even in our society, again, men are not allowed to ventilate their feelings. Like they can't cry in our society. They always teach them, you are a male, you are a man, why you are crying like a woman, so that's the stereotypical sentence what people tell to the male part, and they like make them helpless, that rather than crying, they just if they don't see any solution of any extreme problem, they attempt suicide. So that's a very harsh reality. And I think both, like females and males, they both of them equally, they want a serious kind of counseling regarding how to channelize emotions, feelings, what to do if they are going through a very serious kind of problems and worse situations. So equally, both are vulnerable to mental health diseases, what I believe. But especially here, when we talk about females, so of course when they get married and when they have double and triple family responsibilities and in-laws, they expect a lot from their daughter-in-law. And when even she goes through pregnancy, and she give birth to a child and looking after the child all alone, if in case there is a no in-laws support, so it increases more higher chances to get depression and even postpartum depression, and these kind of things are very common.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And speaking of marriage, children, is this the expected norm for a female? And
yeah, it is.
okay.
Especially in Eastern countries, it is.
Okay. And what happens if you don't meet that social expectation?
Okay. If I personally talk about myself, I don't care what people say, whatever. If I decide I don't want kids, if I decide whatever it is, so nobody could force me to do that.
Yeah.
So it's completely on me, and it's my decision, whatever I want to do, right? But when I talk about the majority of females in a typical societies and in traditional societies, so yes, after being married, there is a lot of family and societal pressure on them that now you should have a kid. Yeah. And after 2 years, you should have another. After 2 years, you should have the third one. And the cycle goes on. Sure. So let her decide how many, and let actually couple decide how many kids they want. Yeah. And especially couple under pressure, they just keep on giving birth to the children. So I don't find any kind of sensible thing in this kind of act. So let them decide for themselves, rather than you are all the time giving instruction and teaching them that you should do this, you should do that. So I think people should improve their mindset, and rather than interfering in somebody's personal life, they should mind their own business, what I believe. Yeah.
And Noreen, you talked about you making decisions for yourself, regardless of what anybody else thinks. How do you have conversations with your friends, with your peers about these matters? And if so, what are your conversations like?
Basically, I have very few friends with whom I can have such kind of conversations, because I feel that many of, like, some of my friends are just going with the flow in the society, and
Mhm.
they think whatever is going on in the society, they have to flow with them,
Yeah.
no matter what it is. So they are just doing whatever, society teaching them, their family teaching them, no matter what actually in real they want from their lives.
Sure.
So I just avoid to have the conversations with my those friends who think typically, and those who have some orthodox ideas.
Yeah.
But uh, there is one group, a friend circle, where I sit, and where I can, share my ideas without being judged.
Yeah.
And if you have the friends who don't judge you, you
Mhm.
are open up with them, you always share your thinking, and your, belief systems and all these things. So some few of my, like, friends, they support me. They agree with me what I think about this. And there are few, of course, they, even I don't know, maybe, like, they don't agree with me, yes, of course, and they have right not to, agree with me. It's not necessarily that everybody should agree with me.
Yeah.
But most of the people, they, although even they are supporting, but they, when it comes to implement those things, they back off.
Yeah.
They don't dare to implement that in their lives, although they know what is right, what is wrong, what is fair, what is unfair.
Yeah.
But due to societal pressure, they don't. So very less, number of people, um, they are really interested to have conversation with me, and they want to bring a change in their lives by following uh, like this concept of feminism.
Yeah. So then, in that case, what platforms do you use to share your ideas, your feelings without actually being judged, as you mentioned?
Yes, that's what I mentioned before. One of my small friend circle, there I share my ideas. There is one of my very good friend. He's like a non-judgmental person, and I openly share my all things with him. Because I know and I believe that he would never judge me.
Yeah.
So such kind of, ideas, that someday I, confront any kind of such situation, or somebody, share their, any female, they share their story, this happened with me, this happened with me, their personal stories. So I never, like, of course, expose the name and everything, but in a hidden way and in an ambiguous way, I just share the essence of that story, that even that situation with that person. And he's just like, oh yes, you are right, you are right. And he's like, it should be not like this, and females should have should have an equal rights.
Yeah.
And they should be encouraged to, pursue career. They should have right to take a great role in the upliftment of society.
Mhm.
So I think right now I have the only that friend, and a group of a small friend circle
Yeah.
where I share my ideas. Otherwise, I have never ever participated in any kind of women campaign. Here in Pakistan, we have the, like, Aurat March. Aurat is an Aurat is basically a Urdu word,
Yeah.
and it means like women.
Yeah.
And we have every year, like, Aurat March, that is women campaign. So I have never ever participated in that, but someday maybe I wish to participate there as well. But that's the thing, there is no as such any formal platform I have where I can share my views or ideas.
Yeah. No, that's yeah, that's interesting to know. and even think about is what are the platforms, or even for other women, what are the platforms are people using to share their, or have a voice, basically.
Yeah. I sometimes think there should be support groups for females,
Yeah.
so that they can get a lot of strength and motivation from the strong females, and they can also follow them as a leader or maybe as an inspiration, and they can also become very strong and brave to take their own decisions.
Sure.
So it should be like this. Maybe in
Yeah.
future, if I get chance, I can do something for them.
Yeah. And the other thing, Noreen, you mentioned was that people should improve their mindset,
Yeah.
about women, their perception of women, and women's contribution to society. Improving mindset is way deeper than, like, we can see it, and we can see the shift when it happens to people, but there is so much underlying work that goes on in improving a little bit of that mindset. Even, how do you think people or society, what small steps could they take in order to help them improve their mindset?
First of all, in my opinion, I think the media play a very great role in changing the mindset of people, a greater role.
Mhm.
Because, for example, if media is showing so-called dramas,
Mm.
where they are always showing a domestic, situation, the girl is facing, oppression and going through a very bad situation after marriage. Mother-in-law is very cruel in the drama,
Mm.
and husband, they are showing that he is beating and he is not behaving good with the wife. I think this should be stopped now. Like, now, come on, like, people are just there reaching on the moon, and we are still showing such kind of stuff. So I think the first step should be, and the smaller step should be, we should come up with the idea of good dramas.
Mhm.
Because most of the female and families, they sit together, they watch such kind of dramas. So rather than you all the time portraying such kind of family dramas all the time, showing negativity, um, uh, rather than that, you can show something good. Like, you should show any kind of drama where females are getting empowerment. You should show something like female are doing something good to improve the education system, or to seek for the knowledge. They should encourage to pursue their career.
Mm.
Such kind of dramas they should show. For example, many years back, I was watching one Indian drama, and I just forgot the name of that drama, but it was about that female, and she wanted to become police,
Yeah.
and and she got married with halwai, and like halwai sweet maker,
Yeah.
and he was an uneducated man, but basically they showed how that uneducated man, he supported a lot to his wife, and he helped her to fulfill uh, her dream, and she became a police officer. So this is the idea which should be shown on the like television, that they should show something which people can learn from.
Mhm.
They think productively, because if you show something negative all the time, people will take those ideas and they will implement at home.
Fuming. Yep.
They will make the perception that daughter-in-law is just like that, mother-in-law is just like that. If daughter-in-law will do something like her in the drama, I will treat her like this,
Yeah.
and she's like this, that is like, that person is like that.
Mm.
So now you have to shift the whole change. Like, you have to shift and bring some change, and you should show something good in dramas, because nowadays people are so much acquainted with the media. They see every day.
Yeah.
So I think this is the step which we can take. Maybe it could be small step, it could be the large level scale, like large scale, step,
Mhm.
but we should do like that. And at a smaller level, we can, we can train our females, like we should teach them some good skills
Mhm.
so that they can power themselves, they can earn for themselves, they can do saving for themselves.
Exactly. And that's all a part of being a contributor as a human being to society. Doesn't matter what
Yeah.
gender, but it's a functional contribution. What is the narrative of feminism like in the younger generation at present?
um I think, I don't know, but I think still here,
Mhm.
few young people, they support feminism.
Yep.
Young people, because of the way they are, getting nurturance.
Mhm.
They are being raised by those females who are again typical, you know.
Yes.
So sometimes I believe that, education has nothing to do with changing the mindset.
Okay.
Sometimes you just get the education for the sake of obtaining the degree, a piece of paper, a piece of degree, or to get a good job, to earn a lot of money. But very few people, they actually take, like, they get education to change their own personality, or to change their own whole mindset,
Yeah.
and think beyond think beyond traditions and cultures and customs, which never makes any logic.
And it's so interesting that you're saying that, Noreen, whereas I'm thinking about education and building that knowledge, building those characters, like you talked about, changing the narrative of those TV shows, actually shining light on where, like women that have fought for rights in Pakistan or wherever they are, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but actually building that within the education system to teach our younger generation about the history of women, where they're coming from, what they've done, the four waves of feminism you talked about, the books, the authors in Pakistan that have written these books. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to access these books at school and read about it and learn about where are these authors coming from, what has been their experience, why have they written these books, and think, and starting to shift the perspective and thinking from a young age, or at least trying to be critical about it.
Yeah, it is very important, and I think the most important step what we can take to change the mindset of younger generation is, females should teach their kids the concept of equality. If a female has one daughter and one son, or two daughters and two sons, she should treat both of them or four of them equally.
Mm.
That's the point, and that's the this one is the step which will bring a greater change. Like, if in every family, in every home, if female will educate their children that they all are equal regardless of their gender, if they will not become gender biased, if they will not distribute the gender roles,
Yes.
and she will distribute all the things equally among all of them, their children,
Yeah.
they will learn this, and they will later on implement this same thing in their upcoming families.
Absolutely.
So this is the thing where we can bring the change.
So, Noreen, my next question to extend on that is, say if a family wasn't forced into a situation where they had to play all the roles and there was no gender bias, how do they, and say the female has grown up with all of these culture and traditions, and that's what the female knows, how do you start changing or thinking about equality then, when a lot of the Eastern cultures, a lot of them tend to have a gender bias. It's just been part and parcel. Then how do you, what small changes can you make in order to start thinking about equality?
I think we should motivate those females who don't feel confident
Mm.
that they can't do anything, or they can't take the big decisions, they can't do anything for themselves, they are not independent. We should come up with a good inspirational female leaders, and we should share their examples, the success stories of those females with those like with with the females who are not confident enough, and we should motivate them by sharing. For example, there is a like female here in Pakistan, Muniba Mazari. She's
Mm.
a very well-known public speaker, and what happened, she was get married very earlier, and due to an accident she got bedridden for many months and years,
Yeah.
and she got many fractures in the body, but she never gave up. She, like, doctor told her that you will never get up again from the bed, but she got the courage to get up from the bed to wheelchair, and
Mm.
she became the greatest artist in the Pakistan. She's a very good artist and public speaker.
Wow.
She is one of the great inspiration for all of the females, that
Mm.
instead of a lot of hardships and a lot of miseries, she never decided to give up, and she was just like so much motivated to do something bigger in her life. And then when doctor told her, you will never become a mother, you will never conceive a baby, she adopted a kid. And
Yeah.
she was like,
Wow.
even if I can't become a mother by blood relation, so at least I can become a mother as a human being.
Yes.
So I think this is the so beautiful and so biggest lovely decision she has taken. So I think very few females they get courage like this. So she is a biggest inspiration for all females. So if sitting on the wheelchair motivating all the females all around her,
Yeah.
if she can do this, why can't we?
Yeah.
What I believe.
Yeah.
So that's all what we need is motivation, 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 and motivation. That's it.
So, Noureen, where does your motivation and courage come from?
um my motivation, as I shared earlier, being like getting raised in a with
Yeah.
single parents,
Yeah.
and doing everything independently. uh, it provided me courage to always look ahead, go forward, do something bigger in life. Because what I feel and believe is, being a female, I should not confine myself in four walls.
Mhm.
I'm not for that.
Yeah.
We should have a bigger and greater purposes in life.
Yeah.
And it is very important, if when we come out of that typical thinking, like, for example, doing home chores all the time and doing gossips like all of the like other people, and just spending the time doing nothing, or wasting the time doing everything so unproductively. Rather than doing that, I can spend my time doing something productive in my life. I can do something creative in my life. I
Mm.
should have the bigger purposes in my life. I want to do something big in my life. And this is the thing I always think, that I should even motivate the other females as well, that you should think beyond that typical thinking. Don't confine yourself always thinking that you have to raise the family, you have to get married, you have to do the home chores, and then you have to earn the money like the machine. No,
Mm.
you have to be you have to think bigger, something bigger. And it is important, if everybody will think limited,
Mm.
so there would be no great leaders, there would be no Albert Einstein, there would be no Mother Teresa, there would be no what, like Benazir Bhutto, we had the like prime minister, she
Yeah.
was also the female, right?
Yeah.
So, Indira Gandhi, she was also the female. She was a very great leader.
Yeah.
So these all females are a great examples. Jhansi ki Rani, I really admire that this character, the Jhansi ki Rani, the character who was living like before partition
Yeah.
in the subcontinent. See, there was no term of feminism at that time, but she was the biggest example of feminism,
Yeah.
what I believe, for all, Eastern females, that even living in a society where females are not allowed to get education
Mhm.
or learn how to do the fight,
Yeah.
and how to ride a horse. She learned all those things
Yeah.
at
Wow.
that time, and she was the great, queen at that time. Even after the death of her husband, she took over all the, workings of her husband. She looked after the whole area. She motivated people to, fight against the unfair system, to fight for getting freedom.
Yeah.
So I think she was the best example for all females. These all females are the best examples for us.
And it's really interesting, Noreen, listening to you and listening to you give examples of all these great leaders, all of these fantastic examples, living examples of what they've done in life. And I think about people I meet on a daily basis, people I have interactions with, including yourself, and drawing inspiration from everyone, right? Like everybody has something to offer, and within, it's actually, yeah, seeing it, perceiving it, and going, that is fantastic. So you're talking about the great leaders, fantastic. Yes, they've done amazing things, but I'm looking at you going, yes, you've done amazing things in sort of breaking down stereotypes, in challenging it, in having conversations about it, in having that courage to speak openly about feminism and what that means to you in day-to-day life. And I think that in itself is a motivator as well. And that's just my opinion, but like, we have access to it. And like I say, in chapters, everyone has a story to tell, no matter what that story is. It's worthy and it's your own unique experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that. Has there been any question that I haven't asked you, or something you've wanted to share with our audience?
Yeah, only 5 key messages. That's it. And then I'll wind up.
Hmm.
And that are, I think, the first one is, never give up if you are right. If you think you are on the right path, you are talking about the justice, you should never give up. You should have the courage to face the challenges, but walking on the true path. The second key message is, love yourself, accept yourself who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you will not love yourself, the other people will not,
Yeah.
and you will never able to love others as well. So first step to love others is, before doing that, you have to love yourself. You have to accept what you are. The third key message is, we should think positive no matter how hard situation is, because positive being positive changes many things. It brings you from bad situation to a good situation, and we have many life examples. We can see many life examples around. The fourth one is, don't compromise on your core values or ethical values, because ethical values are very important, like to serve humanity, to think for weaker people, to support them, to show charity, to educate somebody. I think this is the, humanity which we should follow as a human being. And the last one is, we should think beyond religion, racism, and genders,
Yeah.
and everything which differentiates us, because um, at the end, we all are same from inside.
Yeah.
So these are all the 5 messages I want to give to my audience.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Noureen, for taking the time and sharing your chapter with us. And for anyone that is going to be listening and engaging with Noureen's chapter, feel free to share it with your friends, with your family, or whoever you think that might connect with this chapter. I think there are lots and lots of points to take away from it for human beings as opposed to any distinguished or just, yeah,
And thank
define
you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to talk about this.
you are
I,
very
this is the another platform where I can express my views on feminism.
welcome.
So, yeah.
No,
Thank you
thank
so much.
you.